Zoonosis, it is confined to disease of animals. WHO defines zoonosis as those disease and infections which are naturally transmitted between vertebrate animals and men. So basically this disease, which is we call zoonosis, it spreads from human to animals and animals to human. It is a process of development of human disease from naturally acquired infections of these animals. Nearly 1415 pathogens are known to cause infections to men, of which 61% of all pathogens cause zoonotic disease. There are three categories of zoonotic disease. Number 1, anthropozoonosis. These are the infections transmitted to men from vertebrate animals. Example, plague and rabies. In this picture, you can see that the vertebrate animals are the one who are transmitting zoonosis to human, causing disease in humans. The second category is called as zooanthroponosis. This is the infection transmitted from man to a vertebrate animals. For example, human TB can be found in cattle and can also cause ambiosis in dogs. The third category is called as aphizoonosis. This is the infection when it is been maintained between man and the lower vertebrate animals, and the transmission is directed both sides, that is from men to the animals, vertebrate animals, and from the vertebrate animals to the men. Okay, so this particular connection, the cycle continues in these animals and the human being. Such kind of zoonotic disease is called as aphizoonosis. For example, Trypanosoma cruzi, which is also called as Chagas disease, and Schistoma japonicum, which is also called as schistosomiasis, is the example for showcasing aphizoonosis, in which the disease is transmitted from man or the human being to the vertebrate animals and back from the vertebrate animals to the human beings. In this, the first disease which we will learn is called as bird flu. Bird flu is also referred as avian influenza or influenza virus. It is an acute respiratory tract infection caused by influenza virus. It is one of the serious pandemic disease affecting millions of people in the world every year. There are three strains of influenza viruses, for example A, B and C. The bird influenza or the bird flu is caused by the influenza virus A, which is also called as H5N1 type. Both A and B viruses have two distinct surface antigens. Okay, in this picture, here you can see this is the virus, this is the inner surface, and these are the outer surface antigens which are present. The antigen, it consists of hemagglutinin. Okay, here you can see the surface coating, it has hemagglutinin, and N-neuraminidase. Okay, the neuraminidase is also present. So there is variation in presence of these two chemicals on the surface. Okay, the H antigen initiates the infection by attaching the virus to the host cell, while these N antigen is responsible for release of viruses from the infected host cell. यानी कि ये जो H वाला antigen है which is present on the surface, it will help this virus to attach to the body cells of the human being or any other animal. Okay, and while it has to infect, when it has to spread, which particular antigen will help it? The N antigen present on the surface will help in spreading or releasing of the virus from those infected host animals. What is the mode of transmission for bird flu? A common influenza is spread from one person to another by droplet infection. For example, अगर कोई छींकता है, anybody sneezes, somebody cough out. Okay, so from that there are small droplets of water coming out from the nostril and the mouth of the human who has been sneezing or who has been coughing. Similarly, in other animals, such as for example here we are taking the chickens. The chickens can spread these virus by means of the mouth secretion which is coming out from its body, and whenever it flaps its wings, it is scratching itself or shaking the head. From all these movements of the animal, it can spread the virus into the nearby air which is present, and the particular poultry owner, when he comes in contact with these air around the chicken, can get easily infected by these infective strains of bird flu, which is very much uncommon. The site of entry for this virus is the respiratory tract. The virus H5N1 is found to be originated in wild aquatic birds, but it can be communicated easily into domestic fowls or even the poultry birds. It is transmitted directly to human through bird excreta and secretions from the animal mouth, eyes as well as the nasal cavity. It is said that this particular virus, the incubation period inside the human is 18 to 72 hours. It can be as minimum as in 18 hours it will start showing its symptoms and it will start multiplying in the body to a very high amount, or it can also take 72 hours depending upon the immunity of that particular person. Now, let's know about the various signs and symptoms of the person who has been suffering from bird flu or influenza virus. The virus causes inflammation in the respiratory tract, the tract which we can see, it causes inflammation in this particular area. The epithelial linings of the trachea and the bronchi undergo necrotic changes. Okay, there can be particular cells can die, it can inflammate. Okay, it can literally destroy those cells which are present in the trachea and the bronchi. It can lead to fever, coughing and even sore throat can develop in the particular person. Now these three symptoms, the fever, cough and sore throat, are very common with connection to common cold. Okay, जो हमें normal cold fever होता है, it is also the same kind of symptom seen in this person. But other than these three symptoms, the person can also get conjunctivitis, that is eye infection, where the outer, the eyelids got infected by these viruses and there is a bump or a swelling in those glands present near the eyelids. Okay, so that is called as conjunctivitis, eye infection. It can also cause body pain in the person, and severe viral pneumonia can be seen in the patient suffering from bird flu. It can lead to multi-organ failure in the later stages of the disease if it is undiagnosed or it is untreated. Now, what kind of control measures should we observe to control this bird flu influenza or the zoonosis which is taking place between the animal and the human being? During the epidemic spread, it is advisable to avoid direct contact with such infected poultry birds or those infected animals. Killing of infected bird is the one of the best measure to prevent infection. That is, the animals which are infected need to be tested, and those animals should be isolated, and if necessary required, they should be removed from the system of the poultry farm. Residential zone should be having a good ventilation. Okay, the poultry farm should have good ventilation. To stimulate localized immunity, a live attenuated vaccine offers a very good resistance against bird flu. The antiviral drugs such as amantadine and rimetadine stops viral multiplication inside the body of the human host. That's all for